Hello and welcome to the Experience Fit Life podcast. Have you ever noticed how much of life that we spend chasing the next thing? When we're younger, it's usually something like our grades, our sports, getting into the right college, and then it becomes getting a good job and making more money, buying a house, building something successful for ourselves or for our family or whoever we love and care about. Maybe it's improving our health or reaching some milestone that we've had in our mind for years. And the interesting thing is, when you're chasing those goals, you really believe that when you finally get there, something inside is just going to click. You imagine that moment, you picture how it's going to feel, you think life is going to feel different somehow, maybe calmer or more satisfying, maybe like you've finally arrived. But what a lot of people experience, and this is especially true for driven people, is that they reach the goal and then the feeling they expected doesn't last very long. At first, there's excitement. It's real. There's a sense of accomplishment and you're excited about it. You worked so hard for it and you've earned it. But then something subtle happens. Life settles back into normal. And the question starts creeping into the back of your mind that most people don't talk about out loud. You start wondering, why doesn't this feel the way that I thought it would? And there's the important thing. That question doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean that your goals were wrong. And it definitely doesn't mean that success is a bad thing. What it usually means is you're starting to realize something deeper about life. And that's this: success and fulfillment are not the same thing. You can achieve incredible things and still feel like something is missing. And so today I want to unpack why that happens, because once you understand it, it can change the way that you approach your life, your goals, your health, your faith, and even the way that you define success moving forward. So I want to talk about the achievement trap. Most of us grow up inside a system that rewards achievement. From the time that we're young, we're praised for performing well, and we get praised for good grades, winning games, doing well at work, getting promotions. And again, there's nothing wrong with achievement. It's actually a good thing. Hard work matters, discipline matters, growth matters. But over time, something that thing that starts to happen is we measure our life primarily by our accomplishments. We start building an identity around performance. What have I achieved? What have I built? What have I earned? Where do I rank compared to other people? And that's dangerous. If you're someone who is driven, ambitious, or entrepreneurial like myself, this can become even stronger, because high performers are very good at setting goals and going after them. But here's the trap. Achievement is addictive. You reach one goal and immediately your mind creates another one. Where are we headed to next? And you don't just slow down and take a breath. And so maybe it's you finally get in shape. Now you want to be even stronger. You grow your business. Now you want the next level. Let's keep going. You maybe reach a financial goal. Now you raise the bar. Let's go higher. Let's go bigger. And again, growth itself is not the problem. The issue is when we start expecting achievement to provide something it was never designed to provide. Achievement gives you progress, but it doesn't automatically give you peace. It gives you momentum, but it doesn't automatically give you meaning. So people can spend years climbing a ladder only to realize that they never stopped to ask if the ladder was leaning against the right wall. So I want to talk about when success and alignment don't match. One of the biggest reasons people feel unfulfilled, even when they're successful, is misalignment. And misalignment, I could talk about until I'm blue in the face, and I swear it's my life calling to talk about this because so many people need to hear this. Misalignment doesn't always happen dramatically. Sometimes it happens slowly over time until all of a sudden we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? What have I been doing? Maybe it's you take a job because it just makes sense financially and you just needed it. And then you stay because it's stable and gives you some peace to come home to and sleep good at night. But then responsibilities grow, and now you have people depending on you, and years pass, and suddenly you realize you've built an entire life around something that you never intentionally chose. A lot of people don't realize this until they slow down long enough to ask deeper questions. Am I excited about where my life is going? Do I feel energized by what I'm building? Or am I just maintaining something that started years ago? And here's something important to understand. Misalignment doesn't mean that you failed. In many cases, it means that you've grown. That the things that mattered to you 10 years ago may not be the same things that matter now, and that's okay. Your values might be different, your perspective might be different, maybe your priorities have changed, life has changed, maybe you've gotten married, had kids, had grandkids, looking at retirement in the face, health things have changed. And when those things shift but your life stays the same, tension starts to build internally. And that tension is often what people describe as feeling stuck and restless or unsatisfied. But that's really, it's a signal. It's a signal that something needs to be reevaluated. So I want to talk about this lie that we quietly believe. Another reason people struggle with this is because of a belief most of us carry without realizing it. We believe the next level will fix the feeling. And sometimes I'll even say this, a lot of times unhealthy marriages pop out more babies, and then they pop out more babies. And you think to yourself, what the heck are you guys doing? You guys, your marriage is on the rocks, and all of a sudden 4 kids later, you end up getting a divorce. And I would never, wish those children's lives not into existence. They're all blessings and, incredible kids. I've seen several scenarios where they pop out 3 to 4 children, and then they get a divorce. And a lot of times when you look back, and especially with these close conversations that I've had, it was an unconscious decision because of the unhealthiness of their marriage. And then that spark, that, next level thinking and the happiness and joy of developing, this baby over 9 months is happy. And it's such a good feeling. But then life hits you in the face when you have a newborn at home and a woman's body is changing and healing, and you have, new schedules, lack of sleep. Life hits you even harder. And so I want to help you fix this feeling. We think if I just get a little further ahead, life will settle down. Or if my business grows a little more, I'll finally feel secure. Or maybe if I reach this financial number, I'll relax. Or if I get through this season, things will just get easier. But the truth is, life rarely works that way, because as soon as you reach the next level, new pressures show up. New responsibilities, new expectations, new goals, and before long, the finish line moves again. So people keep chasing a feeling that always seems just one step ahead of them. This is why you sometimes see people who appear incredibly successful from the outside still feeling empty on the inside. Think about how many celebrities have had health conditions or drug abuse, or have wound up no longer alive, and you found out that it was drug related or depressive related. It's because they appear successful on the outside, but feeling empty on the inside, and maybe they were misaligned in their purpose. Because success can improve circumstances, but it cannot answer the deeper questions that we have about meaning and identity and purpose. Those questions have to be addressed internally. So let's talk about the difference between achievement and purpose. This is where understanding the difference between achievement and purpose becomes really important, because achievement is about what you accomplish. Purpose is about why your life matters. Achievement is measurable, but purpose is meaningful. You can measure revenue, weight loss, milestones, but meaning is different. Meaning comes from alignment with your values and your faith, your relationships, and the impact that you make on other people. What kind of impact are you making on other people? This is why someone can accomplish something huge and still feel strangely unsatisfied, because the accomplishment itself wasn't connected to something deeper. But when purpose and achievement start working together, everything changes. The work still matters, the goals still matter, but now there's a deeper reason behind them. You're not just building something for status or recognition. You're building something that reflects who you are and what you believe that truly matters. And that's where fulfillment starts to grow. So if we think about a biblical perspective, one of the things that I appreciate about scripture is just how honest it is about this topic. There's a passage, Mark 8:36, that asks a really direct question. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? That question forces us to slow down and think. What if you accomplish everything the world celebrates? Financial success, recognition, status, influence. But in the process, you neglect the deeper parts of your life. Whether you believe in God or you believe in something else, it's about your character, your faith, your relationships, your inner peace. Jesus wasn't criticizing success itself. He was pointing out that success cannot replace the deeper purpose of life. Fulfillment grows when our lives align with God's design for us. When we pursue growth, but we also pursue character. When we pursue achievement, but we also pursue meaning. When we pursue success, but we don't lose sight of who we are becoming along the way. So let's talk about some signs that this might be happening. Signs that of misalignment. They can be subtle. You may still be functioning well on the outside. You're working, showing up, getting things done, but internally something feels off. Maybe the excitement you once had is gone. Maybe you feel busy all the time, but not truly satisfied. Maybe you're accomplishing things, but they don't feel as meaningful as you expected. And you're thinking, what the heck? Sometimes people describe it as feeling like they're just on autopilot and they're moving forward, but not intentionally. And if you recognize some of those feelings, it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. In many ways, it means that you're just becoming more aware, and that's okay. You're starting to ask deeper questions about life, and those questions are actually healthy because they create the opportunity for change. And my own realization, most people experience moments in life where they pause and start reflecting more deeply, and sometimes it happens during stress. Sometimes it happens during burnout. I can attest to that, reaching my ultimate point of burnout and having this realization of, oh my gosh, how the heck did I just get here? Where I'm working 60 plus hours a week. I'm not present for my family. I'm not present as a wife, mentally or physically or emotionally, as a mom. Who am I? This is not the person I chose to become. And all of a sudden, all these decisions that I made every single day, saying yes to this, yes to that, sure, yep, I can help, I can take on more responsibility, meant that I'm working so much that I'm mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausted. And I was not well in every way possible. And so sometimes this happens during, things like that with a burnout, sometimes after achieving something big, sometimes during a season of change. And you find yourself asking questions like, is this really the direction I want my life to go? Am I living intentionally? Or have I just been moving fast without thinking? And those moments can feel uncomfortable because they force honesty. But they can also become turning points because clarity often begins with discomfort. When we finally slow down long enough to evaluate our direction, we start seeing things that we did not notice before. And that's where real change begins. Because realignment doesn't necessarily mean blowing up your entire life. Sometimes people hear conversations like this and assume the solution has to be drastic and, completely flip your life upside down in a totally different direction. And hey, maybe 1% of the time it could, but it doesn't mean quitting everything, starting over, change everything immediately. Most of the time, realignment happens through smaller decisions. You begin asking better questions. You are adjusting your priorities. You become more intentional about where your time goes. You start focusing on things that actually matter long term. You begin letting go of things that once defined success for you, but no longer feel aligned. And over time, those shifts create a life that feels more authentic, more meaningful, more peaceful, because you're no longer chasing something that isn't connected to who you are. And that's exactly why the concept of living a fit life matters so much. Our Experience Fit Life, the FIT acronym, stands for Foundation, Influence, and Transformation. Everything starts with the foundation. If your foundation is unclear, life becomes reactive. You chase opportunities, you respond to pressure, you pursue whatever seems impressive in the moment, but then your foundation is solid and decisions can become more clear. You know what matters. You know what doesn't. You know what direction you want your life to go. And from that place, your influence naturally grows. People are drawn to clarity. They're drawn to authenticity. They're drawn to people who are living intentionally. And over time, that leads to transformation, not just in your life, but in the lives of the people around you. There's a question I think everyone should ask themselves from time to time. If I continue living exactly the way I am right now, where will my life be in 10 years? Not where I hope that it will be, not what I wish would happen, but realistically, where is this path leading? What will my life look like? What am I giving up? What am I gaining? And sometimes that question is encouraging. Sometimes it's not. Other times it reveals things that we've been ignoring. But either way, it brings clarity. And clarity gives you the power to adjust direction before years pass by. Because life moves quickly. And most people don't regret working hard. They regret not living intentionally. So I'd like to close with you. If you've ever felt that gap between success and fulfillment, I want you to know something. You are not broken. You're not ungrateful. You are becoming aware. And awareness is often the first step toward living differently. Instead of ignoring that feeling, you can use it as a signal to pause, to reflect, to reconnect with what truly matters. Because when success and purpose finally begin moving in the same direction, life starts to feel very different. There's more clarity, more peace, more meaning, and that's what living a fit life is really about. Not just building a successful life, but building a life that actually feels aligned with who you are and who God created you to be. So thank you for joining me today. Please join us next time with our next episode. And if you'd like to talk one-on-one, I would love to talk with you. Reach out anytime. Have a great day.